Chandanji, are you able to hear? Okay. निधाय हृदि विश्वेशं विधाय गुरुवन्दनं बालानां सुखबोधाय क्रियते तर्कसङ्ग्रहः विश्वेश्वरं साम्बमूर्तिं प्रणिपत्य गिरां गुरुं टीकां शिशुहितां कुर्वे तर्कसङ्ग्रहदीपिकाम् So last class, the first class, we saw the first Mangala shlokas of both the Moola and the Deepika. And in Deepika, we went ahead and were seeing the Mangalavada. Mangalavada means, what is the meaning of Mangalavada? One of you can tell. What is Mangalavada?
Benediction or prayer.
Mangala is benediction or prayer. It should be the Vada is why Mangala. That is the Vada. Vada in Tarka means a discussion about it, some kind of thing about it. It's Mangala. Why do we need to have Mangala, etc.? Some amount of discussion happened, and then we saw that. Now, any doubts? Anyone read these notes that are there? 1, 2 that have been mentioned here, the back of the book. I will be far behind. All the notes together are given at the back. But in this edition, I do. No, it's still like that. Same. So that's what. Just whichever class we go through, it will be useful to read these notes because Swami Virupakshananda has given very nice notes, especially for those who are beginning out with Tarka. So each of this where there is a very terse sentence, right? So he will give 1, 2, and then at the back there will be a good explanation on what that concept is, etc. So here I think this is for Anvaya Vitireka, and then what this means, etc. He would have given. I think in last class there would have been 3 notes, etc. Now we will move on to the part of today's class. We had finished till Avijita Pittapadam Spashtartham Nakubhyan Nishpalam Dharma iti Janatadanadeerapi Nishiddhatvat. We have to start with the definition of Tarka. Tarkyante Pratipadyante iti Tarkaha. Pratipadana means to tell something, to explain something. Is called as Pratipadana. You take a particular thing or any vastu and you describe it, you try to talk about it. That is called Pratipadana. How you describe about that vastu is called as Pratipadana. The word Tarka itself means Pratipadana in this context where he is using in Tarka Sangraha. The word Tarka means Pratipadana. So Tarkaha, what does the word Tarkaha means? What he is trying to say is, what is the meaning of the word Tarka Sangraha? That is where we are coming to. Why has he named his book as Tarka Sangraha? The word Tarka here means understand. The various padarthas are called Tarkas. What is padartha? I am using a lot of technical terms, but we will see all of it today. I think everyone said they are fine with Devanagari, so I will write in Devanagari itself. Padartha. Keep this in mind. So, Dravyadi Padarthaha. So, there are 7 Padarthas. We will see in the very next sentence that there are 7 Padarthas. What does the word Padartha immediately understand? Pada means a word, Artha means its meaning. So, understanding the meaning of every word is Padartha basically. And anything in the world that we come across, we have a Padartha for that. We need a word to denote that particular stuff. And we need to understand the meaning of that word so that we understand what that stuff is. If we do not know the meaning, then it is just a word. If there is no word, then there is no way of communicating that. So both words necessary and the meaning of it is necessary for us to get the knowledge. So those padarthas are called as tarkaha. Tarkaha dravyadi padartha. Tesham Sangraha, a brief account of all those padarthas is Tarka Sangraha. Therefore, the name of the book is Tarka Sangraha, a brief account of everything under the sun, not only under the sun, in the whole creation. That is called as Tarka Sangraha. Sangraha means Sankshepayana Swarupa Kathanam. In a brief way, he is trying to describe or detail all of these things is Swarupa Kathanam. Ityartha. Kasmai Prayojanaya. So, in any book that we take upon in the Bharatiya tradition, there is something called as Anubandha Chatushkaya. Many of you might have heard of it. Anubandha Chatushkaya. Anyone knows what these four are?
Adhikari, Prayojana, Vishaya.
Adhikari first. Then
Vishaya.
Okay, Vishaya, Vishaya. Prayojanam and then Sambandha. Prayojanam, then Sambandha. So those four are going to be told here. He is not clearly stating that this is the four that he is saying, but usually in Mangala Shlokas which are not Vastu Nirdesha, all these four will exist, especially for Prakarana Granthas like this, meaning those Granthas which are introductory texts or something, those are detailing certain portions. These four will be there in Mangala Shloka. If not in Mangala Shloka, at least in the first 2-3 verses, immediately these four would have been mentioned. What is this? Adhikari is who is worthy of studying the book. Why should I study the book? Immediately this Grantha is given to me. Am I capable of studying it? Is it intended for me? Is it a basic book? Is it an advanced book? Am I capable of studying it? So the person who is studying, he is the Adhikari. What is the Vishaya in the book? What is it talking about? That we have already seen. Tarkanam Sangraha, Tarka Sangraha. What is the Prayojana? Okay, this Adhikari studies that Vishaya. What is he going to attain? What is the final goal of that? That is Prayojana. Goal is Prayojana. The relationship between Adhikari and Prayojanam or Adhikari and Vishaya or the Vishaya and the Prayojanam, could be any of these relationships, is called as Sambandha. Various kinds of relationships are there. So that relationship is called as Sambandha. All four are being shown by this first Mangala Shloka itself, gives us all the four of it. So that is why when he said Tarka Sangraha, what is the Prayojana? Kasmai Prayojanaya ityataha Sukha Bodhaya. For you to understand it in a very simple manner. Bodha is understanding. Sukha Bodhaya. Sukhena Anayasena. Anayasena with no effort. Easily you understand Tarka. To understand that he is writing this Grantha. Yo Bodha. What does Bodha in this case mean? It means Padartha Jnanam. Understanding what a Padartha is. That the knowledge of Padarthas is the Prayojana. Tasmai ityartha. Nanu bahushu tarka grantheshu satsu. See, Nanu again. Nanu means objection. Some problem. Let us see. So the question is asking, bahushu tarka grantheshu satsu kivartha apurvoyam granthaha kriyate ityatah. There are so many books on Tarka already. Say, Annam Bhatta is writing this in 17th century. Before that, many people have already written so many books. What is the necessity of this new publication that you are bringing about? What is the necessity, he asks. Apurvaha means something that is new book. Apurva basically means something that is new. There he says, Balanam iti. So that's why he says in the first verse, Balanam Sukha Bodhaya. Not only Sukha Bodhaya, Balanam Sukha Bodhaya. For the sake of who? That is the Adhikari here. Balanam is the Adhikari. Tesham ati vistritatvad balanam bodhaha najayate. Yes, there are many Tarka Granthas before me, but all of them are quite humongous. You take a book, there is quite big. Diditi, Gangesha Upadhyaya, this thing, all of them. As soon as you look at the book, you don't feel like starting to study it. So difficult to begin. Why will you begin that? So there needs to be a simple primer with which a person looks at it, he feels, oh, okay, at least this much I can do. So for that sake, I am writing this. That is the uniqueness of the book. The USP of the book is that this is for the sake of children. Children means what? Grahana dharana patuhu balaha, natu stanantayaha. What is the meaning of a bala? One who is a grahana dharana patuhu. One who can grasp information and one who can store it in his mind. Grahana is grasping, dharana is storing it in the mind. So both these it should be possible. So bala does not mean one who is drinking the milk of his mother. He says that natu stanandhayaha. Now that is not what I mean by bala. Or by anybody who comes he starts. You should already have enough background knowledge that if you read this, he is able to grasp and store it in his memory. So all of us in this case are balas for Tarka Sangraha. So it does not mean because you are 40 years old you cannot read Tarka Sangraha. You can read because you are a bala for Tarka. Therefore you can start reading this. So he clearly says Grahana Dharana Patuhu Balaha. Patuhu means one who is skilled. Patu.
Satsu andre? Satsu.
Satsu. Where here?
Satsu.
Satsu. While there are many granthas, all this is Saptami, Sati Saptami. Satsu Bahushu Tarka Grantheshu. Even though there are many Tarka Granthas.
Now what does aha means?
Aha means said. So he said. Iti Ataha Aha. Lot of sandhis. If we go through, we see this is Tasmai Ityarthaha, Iti Arthaha.
Tasmai Ityartha Tasma.
Now Tasma is sandhi. What is a sandhi? Go back and study what that sandhi is. Kriyate iti ada aha. This kriyate iti and tasma ityartha both are same sandhi.
Lopa.
Not only lopa.
Lopa.
Yes, it is lopa. That's another sandhi.
Yanta Vanta Mudunji Lopa.
The same thing is not happening in Pratipadyanta.
Could be, it could have been given there. He just didn't use it. Pratipadyanta iti could have been, the printer didn't fill Sandhikarya is always optional. So, in olden books, Sandhikarya was necessity because of the space constraint. So you will never find space between any word. You just be running. The newer the book, the newer the publication, every sandhi is split. And sometimes it becomes very difficult to read also. At least these kind of words, there should be sandhi. Iti arthaha. You should not split it as iti arthaha, then it becomes very difficult. Anyway, sandhi is separate. Now we will go back to it. Bodho na jayate ityarthaha. Granadhan natu stanandhayaha. Kinkritva kriyate ityataha. Having done, what are you doing this Tarka Sangraha? Doing. Kriyate means to write. Here he is basically writing. Kriyate Tarka Sangraha. So after doing, what are you writing this? Nidhayeti. What is he doing? The first time he said, Nidhaya Hridi Vishvesham. Having kept the Vishvesha, the ruler of the world in my heart, Vishvesham Jagan Niyantaram, one who controls the whole of the creation, Hridi Nidhaya, keeping in his heart, Nitaram Sthapayitva. Nidhaya means nicely putting him with one cement in his heart. Nitaram Sthapayitva. Very well having founded him in his heart, Sada Tadhyana Paro Bhutva Ityartha. The meaning is always thinking of him. Gurunam Vidya Gurunam Vandanam Namaskaram Vidhaya Kritva Ityartha. Having done the Namaskara to his gurus, then he starts this Tarka Sangraha. That is the meaning of the first verse. The first verse is clearly understood. Nidhaya Hridi Vishvesham Vidhaya Guru Vandanam Balanam Sukhabodhaya Kriyate Tarka Sangraha. Will you hear any doubts? You can ask. Then we will move on to the first starting of this. Shall we move on? This I will tell, you can repeat. Dravya Guna Karma Samanya Vishesha Samavaya Abhavaha Saptapadarthaha Dravya Karma Guna Dravya Guna Karma Samanya Vishesha Samavaya Bhavaha Saptapadarthaha
सप्तपदार्थाः
द्रव्यगुणकर्मसामान्यविशेषसमवायाभावाः
द्रव्यगुणकर्मसामान्यविशेषसमवायाभावाः द्रव्यगुणकर्मसामान्यविशेषसमवायाभावाः
सप्तपदार्थाः
सप्तपदार्थाः
Go back to the Roman tradition. So now the definition is clear. Mula is very, very simple. There are saptapadarthas. This is the first line, and this line. To explain this line is the remaining grantha. The whole of the grantha is only to explain this single line. There are only 7 padarthas in the observable universe. What are those 7 padarthas? Dravya. You can draw a line in the book or in your iPad. Dravya, guna, karma, samanya, vishesha, samavaya, abhava.
You can use the pen, I think.
Which pen is the pen here? That's okay. Then I will have to rub it out all the time.
Okay,
I'm not
sir.
going to play with this. I can play probably in my laptop and I will come there. Anyway, here it is given in English itself, so it is not difficult. Dravya, guna, karma, samanya, vishesha, samavaya, abhavaha, saptapadartha. As simple as that. So these 7, it has to be there in the mind from now on. That these are the 7 that we are dealing with. What is the definition of each? It is almost like it goes as breadth first or depth first. Breadth first, as far as I know. Yeah. So first all 7 will be defined. Then he will go to Dravya. So it is no depth first. He goes depth first. So what is Dravya? And then he will go fully Dravya, he will finish, then he will come to Guna and so on. So he goes in a certain manner. Depth first we will see. But that is how he is going to structure the whole of the Prameya Vibhaga. The whole of Prameya is to understand these 7 padarthas and nothing else. Each padartha we will see definition, but this you remember format that these are the 7 padarthas. Don't worry too much about the English translations here. As you understand the definition, then you will start creating a picture of it in your own mind. But these are the 7. This is the best English translation that you can give, so he has given. Now we will go directly to Deepika. Padarthan vibhajate. Padarthas are being classified. Vibhajana is to classify. What is the classification? Dravyeti, Dravya, etc. Those 7 are the classification. 7 types of padarthas exist. Padasya arthaha padarthaha. Very simple. What is the meaning of padartha? The meaning of a word is called as padartha. Whenever we say meaning of the word, we immediately think of dictionary. That is not what is meant here. When I say pen, what do I mean? If you go to a dictionary, it is something may be a thing with which something is written on a book. Something like this will be given. Pen means this. This is what is pen. The meaning of the word pen is this object, not a set of other words. The direct meaning of pen refers to this object. When I say table, it refers to this object, not to another set of words. Similarly, when I say running, it refers to an action. So that is the action that is referring to. You don't go on explaining. So this is what they mean when they say arthaha. Arthaha does not mean giving another set of words instead of the single word. Whenever we say meaning, immediately we think like that. Meaning here refers to that particular stuff which that word indicates. If I say red, that color is called as red. And you can only show it or you experience it. There is no way to put it across with another set of words. And you get the whole point. Okay, if I say something is sweet, only if you know sweet and I know sweet, both of us know what is sweet. Or there is no point of using the word sweet. You cannot write a book on sweet and explain it to somebody that is sweet. The artha of sweet exists in sugar, and if I put sugar in your mouth, you will know what is sweet. That is all. So the artha here refers to that particular stuff, not dictionary. Padasya arthaha padartha. Whatever the object that you intend. I am not using the word object because there is no other word. I am just saying padartha. Okay. So that's why he translates padartha as categories only. Though the word padartha cannot be in categories, padartha means that stuff.
But you told that when we tell a word, it points to that particular object. No? But there are few cases wherein we can try to point it to the group of words. So for example, if I say akshara or alphabets, let us take, I can say that a set containing A.
Yeah, that's also okay. Everything is Padartha only. That's all Jati.
Oh.
That is Samanya. Actually, what you are talking to is about Samanya. Samanya is another word for Samanya is Jati. A technical term is Jati, where you commonly refer to a set of things as. The word table is also a Jati only. All these are tables.
Oh.
And I put them together. So it should refer to a thing. I am not saying it should refer to a singular thing. When you say what is the example you give? Alphabets. Alphabets refers to those set of symbols. No, it is not. When I say alphabet, I should not explain alphabet with another set of words. What is the meaning of alphabets? Alphabets means that set of symbols with which you write. That is called alphabet. Anything could be a set also.
Then what is a dictionary doing there?
It's a different question. Dictionary is then you have to think how
No,
this
because
padartha.
you explained padartha like this, I didn't think of it this way. Because all this while I was thinking padartha is what the dictionary is doing. Then what is dictionary doing?
Dictionary is after you have learnt a certain language to a certain extent, when you want a new word, with the help of whatever you know, it is trying to take you to a new word. That's all it is doing. No? Let us say you don't know English itself. If you start with the dictionary, how will you learn English? You can't learn English with dictionary. You need a certain pedagogy, a methodology to study any new language. Whichever. Let us say you don't know Spanish at all, or Latin something. If you sit with a Latin dictionary which is completely in Latin, you won't understand head or tail. You either need something that you already know, you need a Latin English dictionary so that you can take it from here, or you need somebody speaking to you in Latin. What happens when they speak to you? That is the final part of Tarka Sangraha, and every philosophy deals with it. As to how does a person gain this padartha jnana? When a child is born, how does it learn padarthas? It doesn't know any language, but it grows up to learn multiple languages. So this padartha jnana comes about by some manner, and that manner there are multiple philosophies again in each of this. Tarka has one take on that. That comes at the end of this. Usually it is given when the elders speak, they do some action, then there is a correlation between what they spoke and what that action was, and then that is how you gain that knowledge. So the padartha jnana comes about like that, not from dictionaries. You don't learn anything from dictionary. You can later, with what you know, you can increase your knowledge with dictionary. And even when you learn from dictionary, when you use the word to denote a certain stuff, not to denote that meaning in the dictionary, right? Let us say you learn some new word, obfuscate or something. There is something called obfuscated C code, the code and all those who know coding them, the obfuscated code. The person who has not heard does not know what obfuscate is. You go to the dictionary, maybe some definition will be there saying by which you cover things or you make things very hazy. Something like this will be there. But immediately when you look at the code, somebody shows you 3-4 examples of an obfuscated code, immediately you will understand, oh, this is what it means. Then you know what the meaning of obfuscated. You don't need a dictionary to know the meaning of that word. Like that only everything is. So the meaning is shown directly only. All this set of words in dictionary is only little Maya Jala.
Padartha refers to something physical only, is it?
No, anything under the universe is Padartha. Wherever you can use a word is Padartha. That's why there are 7 categories, and it will fall under these 7 only. That we will certainly prove now that there cannot be something 8th. If the whole of the sentences, whichever language, whatever word I use, it has to fall within these padarthas, or else there is nothing to talk about. That is the statement, the premise has been given there. The questions will come now soon. Why, etc. questions will come. पदस्य अर्थः पदार्थः इति व्युत्पत्त्या अभिधेयत्वं पदार्थ सामान्य लक्षणम्. Very simple definition he is giving. If you can give a word to something, that is called as padartha. If a word is used, that is called abhidheyatvam. This word is there. This is abhidheyatvam. Abhidheyatvam is the lakshana of padartha. What is the definition of a padartha? Abhidheyatvam is the definition of padartha. That's all. Direct definition of padartha is abhidheyatva. If there is something, it needs to be. It will have a word to denote it. If there is a word, it will denote something. So both these are whatever. Vyapya.
So pada is the word and padartha is the thing word is
Correct.
referring.
Exactly. Pada is the word, padartha is the thing. Abhidheya means a name. Abhidheya usually means a name. If something is given a name, that is padartha. If something is named with a certain, any part of language, part of speech it is named with, it is a padartha. That is the padartha samanya lakshana. Hmm.
So, abhidheyatvam, does it not mean the quality of being named? So,
Correct.
so how can we use that word to represent something that can be named?
How can it be used to?
How can it be used to refer to an object that can be named?
Object that can be named, meaning? Give me an example. What is the question?
So any object that exists can be named, right, sir? So so that object can be called abhidheyi. So it can be called as abhidheyi, right, sir?
Yeah, the object can be called as abhidheyi. Yeah.
So abhidheyi is exactly what dravya is.
Agree. Dravya, guna, karma, samanya, all of them are abhidheyis.
Okay, so
A guna is what? Red is guna. Running is action, karma. As he said, tables could be jati. Each of this has a name. No, table is a name that you gave. Running is a name that you gave to that action. That it can be named is abhidheyatva.
But if we name something which doesn't exist, then this formula will break, right?
What is that not existing? That is the question. Can you
Again,
think of
abhava is
something?
being bought.
Huh?
Abhava is being bought. So that is also inside that abhava.
If you think like that, then we can put that into abhava, as he says. For example, Shashasringa, horn of a rabbit. You cannot even think of it, you can only give a name to it. But what do you see? It's a part of abhava only.
Otherwise, we have to use negation only, not this, right?
Ah,
It will
see,
come
but
under the
as
negation.
he says,
Yeah.
if you give it a positivity like the horn of a rabbit, then you have to bring it under abhava. But to bring it under abhava, then that's a separate discussion.
Now, I want to
If you need an abhava, then you need a
carry on
pratyodhi.
with this question.
Ah.
He told abhidheyatvam is the act of naming something. Is it?
Abhidheyatvam is not an act.
Or it's the ability
It
to
is
name
the
it.
property. Whenever the twa comes, it's always a property.
Correct. It is
Okay.
that it's the
It is
ability
the-
for something to get
To have a
named.
name. To have a name. Yes.
To have a name.
Yes.
So if something has the ability to get named, how does that become the meaning? Padartha.
That is the so.
Padartha and the so.
Let us say this thing does not have any name. Until I give it some new name. Chap. I call this chap. What is the padartha of chap? This had abhidheyatva. The property of abhidheyatva was there for this. Now I gave it abhidha chap. From today it is called as chap. When I and you communicate, we can call this chap. It has abhidheyatva. What is the padartha? What is the pada I am using? The pada is chap. What is the padartha? This thing.
But the question comes, did that ever have the adhikara to be abhideyat?
What is the okay? Go ahead with the thought. What is the next question? Does that have means what?
How do I decide that if that can be named or not?
There is
That
no
adhikara
decision to
who
be made
gets
there. Huh? That according to Tarkikas, everything has been named by Ishvara already. If you are discovering, you are only discovering the name.
No, I didn't mean that adhikara.
Ah.
I meant I see something, I call it something. But that is just a padartha to me, no?
Correct. So what? The property that it could be named existed inherently in that. That's why you could name it, no?
Oh. Okay.
That property has to exist with it. Whenever we define a lakshana, the lakshana is an intrinsic property for that thing.
Then for every object,
This thing has a property that it can be named.
So how come Lakshana is not coming in this?
Lakshana only is a Padartha Samanya Lakshanam. It is the general definition of a Padartha. Abhidheyatvam is the general definition of Padartha.
We have names for Ishvara also. Which category that will that fall in?
Ishvara is a Padartha. What kind of Padartha he is that we will see. He is a Dravya.
But every object then will have a, we can bring about it under some name.
That is the whole point.
Ah.
The whole of the universe has to come within Padartha, though. There is no exclusion to this. You cannot get an exclusion to this.
So if there are some emotions or guna or whatever, they also have some names. So are they also padartha?
That is the whole point. Guna is a Padartha.
Oh, they are all overlapping sets. Or
There are no, each of this is almost
One inside the
separate
other.
sets. All these are disjoint sets, but they make up the universal set.
So they have zero intersection.
Yes, yeah, they have zero intersection.
So Abhidheyatvam refers to the
We'll
ability
come to this later. There will be discussions about this.
Abhidheyatvam refers to the ability to be named, right?
Yes.
So an object is a padartha, and that possesses the quality of that the ability to be named. So padartha should actually be referred to like abhidheyatva man, isn't it?
No, that tvam itself is because of that. That dheya pratyaya, that is the ya pratyaya comes from. Why are you using another matup to that? Abhidha, the ya pratyaya is there, abhidheya.
So why?
That which can be named is abhidheya. Abhidha is named. Named is abhidheya.
So why at all should we use the tva pratyaya? Abhidheyatva. Why should
It
we
is
refer
not
to
going to
quality?
Vyakaranam, but it is tva is for property. That which has that property is tva.
So we are not referring to the property, right? We are referring to the object that has the property.
Correct.
So,
Yes.
so isn't Abhidheya itself?
No, now we are referring to the property because we are referring to the definition, not the padartha itself. We are referring to the definition of padartha. When you refer, a definition is always a property. Right? Definition is always the property of that thing. So here the abhidheyatvam is the definition of padartha. Padarthatvam is also a property of padartha. Any object you take, if you are a manushya, manushyatvam is my property. Right? How do you define a manushya? By his manushyatvam. If he has manushyatva, what is manushyatva? You can give a few other words for that. That you can define separately. Like that, this abhidheya is padartha actually. Whatever is abhidheya, padartha. Both these are equal. Abhidheyatvam, padarthatvam. Very important distinction, but you have got it. This is how Karivikas operate. No, for this definition and the object which is given by the definition are two different things. Yes. Abhidheyatvam is the definition. Abhidheya is the object of the definition. Right. Till that sentence is clear now, we'll move forward. Nanu. Problem. Vibhagadeva saptatve siddhe saptagrahanam vyartham iti chet. You see the Mula has the word sapta padartha are there. When I count, I already know there are 7. Why are you using the word 7 over there? What is the necessity of using the word 7? I already know there are 7. Again you tell sapta padartha. Do you not know how to count? Why are you using it? Your usage of the word 7 is useless. Is what the objection is. Sapta padar, that sapta pada, the word saptatve siddhe, sapta pada grahanam. The word sapta that you have used is vyartha, is useless. You would have just said abhavaha padarthaha. You would have finished. Why the word sapta? No, that is not the case. Adhika sankhya vyavachhedarthakatva. To tell you that there is no other 8th padartha. 7 is the end of the whole thing. To tell you that there is no more than 7. That 7 is the be all and end all of my this thing. Or else even if you have just finished, okay, maybe he has given some things, but maybe there exists something else. This could have been there. But to remove that confusion altogether, I am saying that 7 are the padarthas. That's why I have used. Now he goes further and asks a question. This I cannot accept. Why? Nanu atiriktaha padarthaha pramito va tava. This is the question. He is going to detail his question now. Okay. This question itself you have to understand. Atiriktaha padarthaha means the another padartha. Atiriktaha is different padartha. You said only 7 padarthas. And you said you used the word 7. So to tell that there are only 7, there is no more than 7, 8, 9 and all are not there. Let us assume there is an 8th padartha. Rather, the opponent is asking, from the opponent side he is saying, if you have to say there are only 7, that means you are excluding 8, 9, etc. This 8th padartha that is there, if at all it exists, is it known or unknown? Is the 8th padartha, whatever you are trying to exclude, that there are only 7, you are saying only 7, is the 8th known or unknown? Pramitaha means known. Pramito va nava. Is it known or is it unknown? He is explaining his point now. Pramito va nava. What I mean is, na adyaha, it cannot be known. Because if it is known, you cannot say 7. You have to include that as the 8th. Na adyaha pramitasya nishedha yogat. You cannot say there is an 8th and then say I am excluding it. That makes no sense to the first argument that you give. You cannot say it is unknown also. Na dvitiyaha pratiyogi pramitim vina nishedha anubhavati. This is a problem with Tarkikas. If you have to say something does not exist, you should actually know its existence. Only then you can cause it not to exist. If I say there is no earthen pot, mud pot here, I should know of something called mud pot to say it is not here. There is no meaning to say there is no rabbit's horn here. I don't even know of such a thing. So there is no meaning to say like that. So if I should exclude the 8th thing, then I should have the knowledge of its pratiyogi. Pratiyogi means this. In Abhava, when we come to Abhava, we will see. Let us say a pot is there. I will draw in my own style. And there is it is sitting on some, okay, this is on the floor. This is Bhutala. Bhutalam. This is Ghataha. Ghataha Bhutale Asti. This Ghata is on the Bhutala. Now this pot broke, let us say. If the pot breaks, what happens? Ghata Bhavaha. There is no more pot. Abhava of Ghata is there. Where is the Abhava of Ghata? Bhutale asti. On the Bhutala, the Ghata Bhava exists. How do I know the Ghata Bhava exists? Because I know of a particular object called Ghata, hence I am able to say Ghata Bhava exists. If I don't know the object at all, I cannot talk about its Abhava. So, for a Ghata, this Bhutala is called as Anuyogi. And the Ghata itself is Pratiyogi. For Ghata, the Ghata is Pratiyogi. The Bhutala is Anuyogi. What is he saying? Now, Adhyaha. Adhyaha means it is not the first. That means it is, you can, whatever, you understood, no? Padartha Pramita. You cannot know it because if you know it, it should have been included. If you do not know it, to say that I do not know it, to say that I have the Abhava knowledge of it, you should have known the Pratiyogi. To say the Ghata Bhava, you should know the Ghata's Pratiyogi. So then you should know the Ashtama Padartha to say that I do not know about it. The Dvitiyaha Pratiyogi Pramitim Vina. The word Prama means knowledge. Without the knowledge of the Pratiyogi, you cannot do Nishedha of it. Nishedha Anubhavati. You cannot do Nishedha of it. Iti chet na. That is not how this works. That is not how this works. No. Now the Siddhanti starts. Why it is not like that? The question is understood?
Why is Bhutalam called Anuyogi and Ghata called Pratyogi? Like, why I am asking is, so we are talking about Abhava of Ghata, which will be some mud particles, etc. So, why is Bhutalam coming into picture is not clear.
It needs some place where you have to say Abhava. No? Where are you going to say the Abhava?
Place of existence is called Anuyogi. Yeah?
Something like that, yes. In this case, it's a place of existence.
Okay, what else can be any other? Say, for example, I was wearing one shirt yesterday, and today I am not wearing that shirt. So, can we give what is Pratyogi and Anuyogi here for that?
There also, wherever you say the shirt Abhava, that is, see, it
So
cannot be only a Dravya. When you say place, it is immediately a Dravya. In Guna, there is Abhava of Dravya. In Karma, there is Abhava of Guna. In abhava, there is abhava of all the others. We will come to that. No, immediately the argument is going to go like that. The next sentence is like that. Abhava can be anywhere. Whenever we say where itself, then itself immediately a place, a physical place comes into our head. It is not like that. Any of these padartha could be a pratyogi or anuyogi of abhava.
So everything can be explained by abhava of it. Huh?
That is one theory of the Tarkikas. They like abhava very much. Yes.
No, no, it becomes very, very easy. It's like the easiest one I can use to explain everything now.
You can explain, but is prayojana satisfied is the other question. You should be able to put across your point. If I don't know what a dravya is, same thing, same problem. If I don't have pratyogi jnana, what is the point of giving me definition using abhava?
No, whatever is required for the abhava thing, that is about the pratyogi and anuyogi. If I were to say, it is encompassed by the abhava concept. Inside every abhava concept, I can always recognize pratyogi and anuyogi.
Yes, yes, you can.
Then everything can be explained with it.
Yes, you should have an idea of pratyogi and anuyogi, no? If you don't have idea of pratyogi, see for now I said abhava can be anywhere. Now you all don't know what the remaining six are. If I start explaining that in terms of abhava, how will you understand? You should know what is karma, guna, samanya to make sense of the abhava of karma, guna, samanya, no? That is the question that actually the opposition is raising now. You don't know karma at all. Okay. You don't know this thing called karma now. Okay. I will take the other six padarthas and say the abhava of these six padarthas is called as karma.
That's
Will you
what I wanted
understand?
to ask that.
Will you understand anything?
Ah.
Your definition is perfect.
Ah.
Mathematically, tarkically perfect. Definition is good. What is the prayojana of the definition? Prayojana lakshana is not.
No, but by act of explaining what that is, that breaks that entire padartha for it, no? How I meant is,
Give an example.
See, you.
no. When
See,
I
let us say
when I go to explain karma now, I will say what all constitutes karma.
Okay.
That becomes the padartha of karma itself. Because I named padartha, I gave abhideya for karma by telling all this as karma, no?
Okay. Correct.
So that makes padartha of karma to be all these things, no? Then this becomes the more fundamental ones, right?
No, but how do you say that your list is extensively including everything?
That's where the abhava thing comes from. I say that this entire list, anything abhava of this is not karma.
Then you should have a list, no?
That's why I'm asking this thing. It's somehow it's recursively it is falling, but it is going back to its own.
But then there will be two padarthas which will have like intersection. That cannot be happening. As in, like, let's say if there is 8th padartha, I name that I name X. Then if I tell karma is not karma is the abhava of all these 6, then the 8th will be also abhava of all these 6. Then karma and that object, like that padartha, is basically same. So how many times you define it, it doesn't make any sense. It's just going to the same.
Okay, I'll come from
You
this
have to
direction.
positive. Okay, tell.
How I meant is, if someone asks me what is karma, what is padartha of karma,
Okay.
I say it's action.
Correct.
That is just me translating it to some other language.
Okay.
I've still not explained it.
Okay.
Then I ask you what is karma really. Then you say act of running, act of writing, some all the
certain
list you
acts.
say.
Yes, you are going to list it like that only.
So then what am I going to say? If nothing falls in this list, that is not karma, I'm going to say.
Correct.
So that is the abhava only, no? It is.
Yeah, so the abhava of karma cannot be within karma. It has to be outside of karma.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, but what happened? My act of listing what all involves karma, I have explained karma itself by this list only. Then doesn't the padartha for karma become this list?
Yes, it is that list only.
That is
so
the
you are classifying it more. No, see, now karma he has said. Now next you are going to classify karma as 5, 6 things. So what? That's how we started. We said padartha. Now we have classified padartha into 7. That's how you done the padartha is 1. Now you classified padartha into 7 categories. Next you are going to classify each of them into multiple more categories.
It's like alphabet A. You can't ask why A. What is the reference for A? Is A. R. That's the thing.
That's how we go further and further. We are going to make it more and more clear. So now you don't understand the word karma. I will give you certain actions and say this is what is karma.
No, unless I understand all those, then I will never understand karma.
No, correct. To a certain extent, yes.
That
You have
is
to go
the-
full way down, only then you will start understanding.
But Nikhilji, it's
We are
like-
doing a top-down approach here.
Like, just correct me if I am wrong. Like, let's say if I am coding, I have assigned some value to x. Right? Now suddenly I am telling x is equal to y. Now y is redundant because I already can access x. Like I can call x to know that value. So if I can do x is equal to y, x is equal to z, x is equal to n number of things, but that is just increasing my code but not adding any value. All of them are converging to the same padartha. That is the value I have assigned to x.
Let's say you have only 3 actions: running, sitting, walking. All these 3 put together are karma. But you need these words, running, sitting, walking also in some other part. No?
I understood a different way. How I understood is if I understand karma, I will be able to say what all is karma. But it is going the other
it
way
is
around.
going
If
the
I
other way
understand
around.
all those only, I will
You
understand
will
karma.
understand
it is
karma,
becoming.
yes. Whichever way you look at it is the same. In the end. You understand all the time, you look at it. See, to understand padartha, you have to understand all these 7. To understand each of these 7, you have to look at all the classification below. That's how it will go. That's why I said it's a taxonomy. You have started with one point. Everything is padartha now. Nothing other than padartha, universal set. From that you have now, you said 7. Each of this now will again, you can start drawing this tree, but one tree will not fit in the page anyway. So, that's how it will go. So once you understand this final leg of the tree, then you will be able to come back. And here again, we will still be saying it in general terms only. Each of this will have some specific entities, no? And then we leave for anyway. You have understood, so we will move forward now. Now you understood the opposition's problem. Now Annambata gives the Siddhanta. Padarthatvam dravyadi sapta anyatamatva vyapyam iti yavachchedarthakatvat. So why I am using 7 here is, he says, it is not, you took the idea that I am excluding a 8th. That is not what I am saying. I am not trying to exclude a 8th or anything like that. That is not the intention of using the word sapta. I am saying any padartha you take, it will fall into one of these 7. It will have the property of any oneness. It will be one of these 7. It will be any one of these 7. That's what I mean by 7 padartha. I do not mean that I am excluding a 8th or I know the 8th, I don't know the 8th. None of these. I am positively stating that it falls within one of these 7. Padarthatvam. See here the word padarthatvam is there. Because if it's padarthatvam, he's talking about a property. What is it? Dravyadi sapta anyatamatvam. Anyatama means one of. One of is anyatama. Ekatama. Anyatama. Dravyadi sapta. Dravya and sapta. The dravya, all the 7. Dravyadi sapta. One of these 7. Anyatamatva vyapyam. It is completely covered by one of these 7. That's what I mean by sapta. Vyavachchedarthakatvat. To show that it is one of these 7 only. That is why sapta. That's why I am using the word sapta.
So basically, can we understand sapta to denote exhaustiveness of the set?
Correct. That is what he is trying to say. By this sentence, that is what he is saying. The word sapta itself is used for the exhaustiveness of the set, the universality of the set, and by this sentence, he is clarifying that. And whatever padartha, it has to be one of these 7. It cannot be anything outside of these 7. Again, doubt. Nanu. Sapta anyatamatvam, sapta bhinna bhinnatvam iti vaktavyam. This I might have to draw figure. Again. This. Now there are 7. We will draw these 7. Now we have this set of 7 things. We have these 7 things. This is our universal set. This is our statement. That's all. We have made a statement. The opposition is now asking, when you say sapta anyatamatvam, that it is one of these 7. It should be anywhere here if you say. Sapta Bhinna. What does Sapta Bhinna mean? Bhinna means different, other than Sapta. Sapta Bhinna should exist outside of this. Something here is Sapta Bhinna. If, how do I define any oneness? That is the question that this fellow has in mind, the opposition has in mind. How do I define this any oneness of these seven? The any oneness will come by saying that it is different from this Sapta Bhinna. Sapta Bhinna, that let us say something is there. Then this is Sapta Bhinna Bhinna. Any oneness comes by Sapta Bhinna Bhinna.
Complement.
Double complement. Complement. This all things I do. Sapta Bhinna is something. Then Sapta Bhinna Bhinnatva Vyapti Nishchaya. Only then Vyapti Nishchaya will happen, he is saying. He is saying that I will be able to completely confirm this only if it is Sapta. Where is the word? Sapta Bhinna Bhinnatvam iti Vaktavya. That's what I have to say.
Double complement எடுத்தாதான் சொல்லணும்.
சொல்ல முடியும். That I can only tell this only if it is Sapta Bhinna Bhinnatvam. Now, the Sapta Bhinna is aprasiddhi. There is no idea of the Sapta Bhinna. I don't know what the Sapta Bhinna is. Nobody knows what the Sapta Bhinna is. Sapta Bhinnasya aprasiddhaya katham Sapta Anyatamatva Vyapti Nishchayaha. How can you say that this will fall within these only? The other thing is the same thing, where just like we see here that this Ghata, we should know Ghata for Ghata Pratiyogi. Let us say we explain this as Sapta Bhinna Bhinna. Okay. To say something as Sapta Bhinna itself, rather Sapta Bhinna Bhinna, this you got this, no, Sapta Bhinna Bhinna. This is Sapta Bhinna Bhinna. All these seven together, let us take it as one set, one universal set. The abhava of this whole thing, I don't know at all. The abhava of this universal set, I cannot find at all because there exists no such padartha. So Sapta Bhinna is aprasiddha to me. Now you understand? The Sapta Bhinna is completely aprasiddha to me. That is, I do not know. I cannot even conceive of such a thing as Sapta Bhinna. Because I do not know Sapta Bhinna Bhinna is impossible. Only if I know the Ghata Bhava is possible. I am trying to say Sapta Dravya Bhava. Let me put it. Sapta. Why is no point?
Like keep it open, sometimes it might not.
Now, let me try to keep it close. Sapta Dravya, we know. Okay. The opposition is trying to define this Anyatamatvam as Sapta Abhava. He is trying to put it as two Abhavas. This is how he is trying to. This Abhava, I can probably know because I know Saptadravya. Saptadravya Bhava, I can tell because I know Saptadravya. But Saptadravya Bhava points to nothing. There is no such stuff at all. So the Saptadravya Abhava cannot be said at all. See, this is the Pratiyogi for this word Abhava. Correct? You understood? This is the Pratiyogi for this, using this Abhava. This Pratiyogi is unknown. So I cannot use this word Abhava. Since this Pratiyogi is unknown. Now you understood that what he is saying? Sapta Bhinnasya Aprasiddhaya Gatam Sapta Anyatamatva Vyapti Nishchayaha iti chet. This is the question that he is asking. I cannot know Sapta Bhava, hence how Sapta Bhava.
If he says, I don't know if there is nothing outside this seven, how can he say that?
How
Again,
can you
that
say there is
question
nothing?
Still exists, no? So if we say Saptadravya Bhava, I don't know anything outside these seven, then the question still stays that how are you saying that there are only these seven?
That question was never asked actually. It is not that how are these only seven. The question was, why are you saying seven? That was the question. Only seven that we have, like, is there anything existent outside of seven or not? We have separate discussion. They will posit the eighth padartha and then remove that eighth.
Is it equivalent of saying ignorance of unknown? How does it let you define the known?
So, or else the other, is there nothing other than 7? If somebody brings a counter example, then you can say that's all. Till then, the 7 is good.
No, but here he told that there is. But okay, you said the question comes later.
In a different way, not in this way. But what
here
he asked is not in that manner.
Adhika Sankhya.
Adhika Sankhya Vyavachedharthakatva. He said that there are no more than 7. That is what I am positing. It is a statement given by the Siddhanti. I am posting there are 7 at all. If you have to disprove me, you have to bring about 8. You have to bring in a counter example to disprove that there is an 8th padartha. I am able to classify everything that we know in the current knowledge system using these 7. So you will not be able to posit a 8.
So in the introduction you said last week that usually this logic is subjective. So subjectivity is this what you are pointing to, like I have not seen.
Yeah, in a way, the other way of proof, I have to see. Maybe it is there, maybe in other Tarka Granthas it is referred to as positively proving this. But now the burden of proof is not on, as far as this Grantha goes, the burden of proof does not exist on him. He is posting it is 7 only. So it is, what do we call it? It's a theory or hypothesis. It is not conjecture, basically. Something like that. Okay. As far as it works, it works. If you are not able to disprove it, I am not able to prove it. It's okay.
It's like null I.
It's working, so I go ahead. That is how we have to take that. At least here I feel. Maybe there are some other Tarka Granthas which deal with this particular question. To positive. There are some
Can you have a short revision for this entire?
No, I have not finished it now. We are still at here. Iti chet na only. Now, Dravyadi Sapta Anyatamatvam Nama Dravyadi Bheda Saptaka Abhavavatvam. That is where we are. We have to get this sentence. Now he is explaining himself. When I say any oneness, Dravyadi Sapta Anyatamatvam means any one of these 7 Dravyas, any oneness among these 7 Dravyas, if I am going to say, what I am actually meaning is Dravyadi Bheda Saptaka Abhavavatvam. What do you understand?
Dravyadi Veda Saptaka Abhavavatvam அப்படின்னு சொல்லுங்க. So when they are saying this, he's basically saying it will fit into Dravyadi categories. However, it will get into any of these categories and
Veda also means Abhava only. You don't understand that. The word Veda can mean only Abhava. Difference means Abhava only. From Tarkika standpoint, difference is an Abhava.
so he's basically saying that it will fit into either of these 7.
What did this fellow want? This opposition wanted the Abhava of all the 7 Dravyas at the same time, and that's how he tried to define any oneness. He said all the 7 Dravyas I will take at a time, define one Abhava, and then that Abhava's Abhava I will define as any oneness. You don't need to posit the Abhava of everything at once. I know the Abhava of each one separately. Okay. That is there. So now again I take all the 7. Same 7, I think it's still visible here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, these 7 are there. As we were discussing some time back, in Dravya, the 6 abhavas of these exist. There is a 6 abhava here. Similarly, in karma, there is another 6 abhava of the other 6. Like this, we have 6 abhavas at each place. So, the abhavas of each one are separately prasiddha. There is no problem with that. Every abhava is separately prasiddha. So, separately taking them, I have 7 different abhavas I know. I have the knowledge of 7 different abhavas. I don't have the knowledge of all put together at the same place. That I do not have. But even up to 6 put together at the same place, I still have that knowledge. So, Dravyadi Bheda. Bheda means abhava again. Dravyadi abhava saptaka 7. That abhavavatvam I do know. I know. How do I know? By taking each one separately, I know it. So, when I mean any oneness, it means that all 7 abhavas will not exist in one place. and such a place is padartha. All seven abhavas together cannot exist in one place.
How are you saying this? How are you saying this?
Because I don't know any other place where all the seven abhavas exist.
That is the meaning of padartha.
What is your
Okay.
what else can you imagine? Sapta padartha is your universe. You cannot posit a place
No,
where
here I
all
feel
seven.
that we assume something and prove the same assumption. That is what I feel.
Okay, let us take it this way. No, he's not coming like that. The seven
Because we
abhavas
have-
are known separately.
No, we are fixing the number 7. And again we are coming and saying that that is our assumption first of all. So
Okay, let us say that is the assumption.
Ah.
So that's why to disprove the assumption, you have to posit saptabhava something else.
Sir, okay.
Where all these saptabhava exist, if you are able to prove that, then sapta can no more exist.
okay, so just because I am not able to find, I am saying that the assumption
That's
is
what he
right.
said.
I am saying that the assumption is right,
Yes.
and we are saying
Yes,
that
it is a proof by negation, you have to say something like that.
But
Okay.
by the definition of padartha,
Ah.
because there is a pada which is saptapada abhava,
Correct.
does there not have to be a padartha which refers to saptapada abhava?
Because
Then it will go into infinite regress, which will not be accepted. That is a wrong logic. Infinite regress means then you will posit one as saptapada abhava, that is one padartha. Then because of infinite you will posit one more and go on. No, that is called infinite regress, which is not accepted. Anything that leads to such infinity is not accepted. That is wrong.
Now, the thing is, statement is how the first Purvapakshi is asking. How are you saying it is only 7? He is asking that something which is not having that 7, that one's abhava, if you can prove it, then only I will accept that these 7 are the only ones. So, but he is rather saying each of these 7 itself.
I don't need to know one object which has all the 7.
I will say
I
in
know
single
each of these
object-
7 separately.
In that, if I can prove that there are 6 abhavas, I know. But if I can say something else is there inside this other than that, that itself proves it. Since I have not seen it, then it is not there. Is it that way?
The anya, by any oneness, to show that it is any one of these, I am just saying.
How I meant is, if I say just dravya, if I can say that dravya is just not karma, not samanya, not abhava, everything.
6 abhava you can.
I excluded all of them, but inside this there is something else which is not dravya. Then this gets proved. No?
It's okay. That is fine.
No,
That
yes.
is what is the eighth abhava. That's how this author is taking. I am telling.
No, the author now just has to say what he means by any oneness. But that any oneness, the opposition. Okay. The author first simply said it as, I said sapta because it is any one of these. That's all his definition was. Now catching hold of this any one, the opposition is trying to shake him away from his stance, saying this any one is not possible. How do you define any one, etc. That is why he is trying to confuse the author itself, confuse the Siddhanti. So the Siddhanti says, your definition of any one is trying to assume that I need to know 8 of which Bheda you have to say. Now the author is saying, I don't need to know it as a single abhava. I know it as 7 different abhavas. I don't need to know all these 7 put together as Sapta Bheda. That is not necessary for me. I know these Sapta Bhedas separately.
That is as good as telling in just dravya alone if I can find 7 abhavas.
If I can find 7 abhavas, then it would have postulated 8 or the Sapta would have been
That's what I meant by
disproved.
that.
Correct. That is exactly what he is saying.
Okay.
So all these 7 separate abhavas cannot exist in any one place. That is what I call as any oneness. These 7 separate abhavas. That's why he used the word in different manners. See, here it said dravyadi. Where was this fellow? He said
Dravyadi
sapta
bheda
bhinna
saptakam.
bhinnatvam. He said no. He said dravyadi bheda saptakam. See, it is not sapta bheda. It is bheda saptaka. Now there are 7 differences. So he is talking about 7 different abhavas. The opposition was talking about one abhava which included all the 7. This person is talking about 7 different abhavas.
7 abhavas in one.
All the 7 different abhavas in one stuff I cannot find. In one category I will not be able to find. That is what I call as any oneness. That is what he. This was just to clarify what is anyone meaning, anyoneess, to clarify that only. Anyatamatvam only. Ato dosha viraha.
By doing this, he is keeping the set bounded.
Correct. Yes.
So,
Or as he said, you go to infinite regress. I will posit another thing and then you can only keep positing, but you cannot tell this.
the substance cannot exist without quality.
That and all we'll see. Maybe to Tarkikas to a certain extent, yes, Vedanta thinks so.
So why should not be there infinite?
Shots have been fired.
No, why should not there not be infinite categories? Why shouldn't the set of sets be infinite?
They have it. So what is your point of having?
No, I am saying
See,
is that infinite regress. Why is it not accepted?
infinite regress in logic is not a. You can have an infinite set. Set is not a problem.
Infinite regress
This
means that you are
infinite
going to
regress
infinite.
is not infinite set. You are using the same logic to keep increasing your this thing. Though that is infinite regress is wrong in all kind of logic. Eastern logic, Western logic, everywhere infinite regress is wrong logic. You are not using logic to increase. You are using it as
That's circular.
infinite set is. We'll have a lot of infinite
Basically,
sets.
it's meaning circular definition. Like
It's a
circular.
Okay, circular definition.
Yeah,
Okay.
circular definition.
You are circularly increasing the infinity of it. Not. That's
Okay,
why it's
okay.
infinite regress.
Frequency. At certain
Infinite sets
period,
are
you are playing with it.
Yes.
Now, small recap, can you read it at just one?
Ato dosha viraha.
Ato dosha. Therefore, whatever I said as sabda anyatamatvam, there is no dosha with my definition. Evam agrepi drashtabhyam. I have used sabda here. I will use other numbers also. Don't come back with the same question. Everywhere use the same logic to understand that wherever I use the number, immediately in the next sentence he is going to use the word nava. Okay. So don't again ask why nava. Why this? Don't ask. Everywhere you have to understand that this is the logic that is being used whenever I use a number. I know that you can count, but what I mean is anyoneness, and this is the meaning of anyoneness. There is one. So this discussion of anyoneness here is complete.
So this itself is Balanam Sukhabodaya.
This is Balanam Sukhabodhaya.
I think now the Bala meaning makes more sense. It's not kids. Grahana Dharana.
Grahana Dharana
Patu. Patu.
Not only Grahana Dharana, Grahana Dharana Patu. You should be skilled enough to do Grahana and Dharana. Grahana Dharana Patu Dharana. The revision one of you can do. Just what did he say today? We saw what is Tarka first there. We finished the Mangala Shloka. Then what is Padartha? So there are 7 Padarthas. Then why did you use the word 7? Started from there. To tell that there is no, there are only 7. There is no more than 7. Then if there is no more than 7, then do you know the 8th or do you not know the 8th? That's all the question. If you know the 8th, you should have included the 8th. You don't know the 8th, how did you say you don't know the 8th? That was the question. Because if to say I don't know the 8th, you should know the 8th. No, he said no, not in that manner, but to say that it is any one among these. To say it is any one, then you should know that Sapta Bhinna Padartha. Then you can say Sapta Bhinna Bhinnatvam. No, not that way, not to say Sapta Bhinna Bhinnatvam. To say Sapta Dravyadibhena Saptaka Bhavavatvam. That is what I mean by any one. Therefore, my definition is not wrong. That this is, Sapta means any one among these. That's all. So any Padartha is any one among these 7. Agre Vikrishtavyam Nidhaya Hridi Vishvesham Nidhaya Dhruvandanam Balanam Sukhabodhaya Kriyate Tarka Sangraha.